You're listening to Solihull Radio. You're listening to Solihull Radio.
Good morning and welcome to another Solihull Show with me, Nick, here on Solihull Radio. Let me tell you all about what's on today's show. In just another minute, I'm going to be talking to Robbie, who's going to be talking to us about how we can become stem cell donors on the 2nd of February at Solihull Radio. And in a second, I've got Rachel from Herbalicious talking to us about vegan food, yoga, and she's brought some cakes. So she's a hit here. We've also got Barrie from St Basils, who's going to be talking to us about the charity and what they're doing and how we can help as well. Also, we've got some great music, but also you can get involved as well. Drop me a line on text 07564 30 30 64. That's 07564 30 30 64. Also, drop me an email if you want to, studio@solihullradio.com. That's how you get through to me. Why not drop us a line live on the phone, 0121 7040 185. That's the number, 0121 7040 185. You're going to need to go onto Facebook a bit later to have a look at these delicious cakes. So find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. But first of all, before we go anywhere, I'm going to get Robbie on the line. But we're going to have what's at number one at the moment. It is Sweet But Psycho from Ava Max.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Oh, she's hot but a psycho, so left but she's right though. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. She'll make you curse, but she a blessing. She'll rip your shirt, within a second you'll be coming back for seconds with your play. You just can't help it. No, you'll play along. Let her lead you on. You'll be saying no, then saying yes, 'cause she's messing with your head. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Oh, she's hot but a psycho, so left but she's right though. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Grab a cop gun, kinda crazy. She's poison but tasty. And people say run, don't walk away. Yeah, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. See, someone said, don't drink her potions. She'll kiss your neck with no emotion. When she's mean, you know you love it. If she tastes so sweet, don't sugarcoat it. No, you'll play along. Let her lead you on. You'll be saying no, then saying yes, 'cause she's messing with your head. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Oh, she's hot but a psycho, so left but she's right though. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Grab a cop gun, kinda crazy. She's poison but tasty. And people say run, don't walk away. 'Cause she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. You're just like me, you're out your mind. I know it's strange, we're both the crazy kind. You're telling me that I'm insane, but don't pretend that you don't love the pain. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Oh, she's hot but a psycho, so left but she's right though. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind. Grab a cop gun, kinda crazy. She's poison but tasty. And people say run, don't walk away. Yeah, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind.
That was a bit of Sweet But Psycho on Solihull Radio. Now, last week I had a phone call with Shilpa, and she was telling us about her friend Mina, who is extremely ill right now, and she desperately needs a stem cell donor. And the search has gone international, and we at Solihull Radio were inspired by that. We would like to get involved. And on the 2nd of February, we're having a big event in the studios where we're going to try and have a drive in Solihull to get as many possible stem stem cell donors as possible. And on the line, I have the man who's going to help us with that. His name is Robbie Chahal. And are you there, Robbie?
I am, Nick. Good morning.
How are you? Happy Saturday to you. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and the charity you work with that's going to help us with this.
Yeah, so I volunteer for a charity called DKMS. I've been volunteering with them for probably about the last 5 years. It started off with basically about 4 of us who came together to help support a friend of ours whose uncle had blood cancer. And it was all around raising the awareness, especially within the South Asian community within the Midlands. So basically 5 years on, we grew into quite a number of volunteers who have come on board due to various campaigns that have been going on. And what we generally do is, on behalf of DKMS, we kind of support either whether it's family members or patients directly to try and raise that awareness, get more and more people registered, kind of help with the education process. As I mentioned, especially within the South Asian community, where it's almost effectively looked as a kind of a taboo subject, really. But just trying to educate people in the sense of that, just a few minutes of your time could literally save somebody's life. So it's like a no-brainer, really. But it's just trying to help relay that information back to them.
It's not quite as well known as something like blood donation, is it? It's something that's still on the rise.
No, it's not, and it's something that I know that it has actually gone through government, it's gone through Parliament, where they've tried to make it mandatory that whenever you give blood, that they would take your stem cells at the same time, because places like Germany do that, and it's been they've had very high success rates because of that. DKMS are actually a German organisation. They were established in Germany, but there are other organisations such as Anti-Nolan and the NHS. But it's not known. It's you talk to even medical professionals, and they aren't aware of the process. So it's really, I guess, it's teams like ourselves, especially within the middle, who try and get out there and try and just raise that awareness and try and help people, like, as you mentioned, patients like Mina who are desperately in need of a donor.
So talk me through the process, because it's quite a simple and painless registration process, isn't it? So talk us through how that works.
Absolutely, yeah. It is. It is totally painless. It's if you're aged between 17 and 55 and in generally good health. When we say that, we mean there is no serious conditions. You haven't suffered from cancer in the past, etc., and any other serious things. The process itself is literally a 2 or 3 minute of a cheek swab. So we have three little cotton buds that we do a swab of your cheek, fill out a form, and that will be then sent off for testing. And if everything's okay with your cheek swab, you'll sit on the national database until you're 61 to potentially be a tissue sample match for any individual. So until you're 61, you could literally be a match for multiple patients. If you happen to be a match, the process itself is, it's in 90% of people, they will extract the stem cells from your blood. So what they'll do is they'll put a needle in one arm, extract your blood through a stem cell machine. The machine will extract the stem cells and your blood's passed back through the other arm. If anyone's ever given blood, it's exactly the same process, apart from it just takes a little bit longer. Because there's so many stem cells we need, it takes about a few hours.
But you're back to work the next day, aren't you?
Sorry?
I was saying you're back to work the next day,
yeah,
aren't you?
Absolutely,
It's not a problem.
Send you back to work the same day. This is not, one thing I'll just make clear is, this is not detrimental to your health in any way. These are additional stem cells that your body is creating, and these are stem cells that what we'll do is we'll give you a little booster injection a few days before to stimulate these stem cells, and these are additional. So these will rejuvenate after a couple of weeks. So that happens in about 90% of people. in about less than 10% of people, if they find that that process isn't sufficient for whatever reason, whether it's the age of the patient or medical reasons or just the sample's not strong enough, what they'll do is they'll put you under general anaesthetic and just extract the stem cells direct from your hip. Like with every general anaesthetic procedure, you'll have a bit of discomfort, maybe a couple of days, but in the grand scheme of things, that's still nothing when you're trying to potentially save somebody's life.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the chances of you being picked or being a match differs depending on which ethnicity you come from. I mean, but we're still woefully short of donors. If you have are unfortunate to need a transplant, are you waiting for a long time?
Yeah, it's I think the tagline I always say it's the odds are almost like winning the lottery. When you're from a kind of a white Caucasian background, your chances are quite high because the representation on the national database is very high. So you're looking at possibly over 40% to 50% mark. As soon as you drop down into the BAME community, so the Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups, that drops down to about 20%. As soon as you go into things like mixed individuals who are from a mixed race background, then the percentages are really low. So you're looking at less than 10%. So that's why there is a huge push from myself at ECMS to really try and get not only people from the BAME community, but people from all ethnicities, all backgrounds, to just get on that database because, as we've alluded to, the process is so simple. It's almost like, and as much as we don't try and do this as much as we can, but you almost want to tell the individual who's registering, imagine if this was, God forbid, this is somebody from your family or friend or somebody you knew. Wouldn't you want to do this for a simple procedure, a simple process of a few minutes, and you could potentially save an individual's life?
That's fantastic. And so, just very quickly, do you know how Mina's doing? Is she keeping in good spirits?
She's a tough character. She's a really strong-willed character. She's currently in hospital resting, and she's currently going through various procedures, but we've got we've got a WhatsApp group, so she's quite active on that. She's keeping her spirits high, and as I say, all the volunteers are kind of banding together to try and just push and get people registered. Her campaign has just gone completely viral, which has been amazing, and the response has been fantastic. But we just got to keep pushing because Mina's one campaign. There's so many other campaigns out there that just from people from all backgrounds that we just need to keep pushing. We're at an event tomorrow for the Polish community. There's an event in Redditch, there's some Polish patients currently in desperate need of stem cell donors. So we'll be attending that tomorrow. So. If any of your listeners have a working environment where there's, they want to get us in and happy to come into organisation, just exactly like we're doing at Solihull Radio in a few weeks' time. We're more than happy to come in, register, have a chat with people, and just try and push that awareness more.
We'll carry on working here. So quite literally on the 2nd, 2nd of February, we'll see you. It's a 5-minute thing. Come here. Get yourself swabbed, fill in a bit of paper, and off you go, carry on with your shopping. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'll encourage as many of your listeners to pass the word on, tell your friends and family to get over to Solihull Radio on the 2nd. I think we're doing it, if I'm not mistaken, around about 10 o'clock in the morning.
It's about the time my show will be happening just in the next room, so I might say hello. Thank you very much, Robbie. Go on. What did you want to say?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, for those individuals who can't attend, I encourage them to just jump on the DKMS website, which is dkms.org.uk. Just click register. You can fill out your details. They'll send you a swab kit out in the post, and what we will be doing on the 2nd, you can do at home and send it back. And so at least you're not. If you can't make the 2nd, please go onto the website and register.
Thank you so much, Robbie. It's been a pleasure talking. I'll see you in a few
Likewise.
weeks. Bye for now.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Cheers. Bye.
Solihull Radio.
Fields is one of the region's most respected law firms with more than 120 years' experience. Winners of the Chamber of Commerce Excellence in Professional Services Award and High Growth Business of the Year Award. We have over 150 experts working across 8 regional offices, all dedicated to finding you real solutions. Get to know us better at thursfields.co.uk.
Solihullradio.com.
Hi there, I'm Joan Smith and I'm passionate about helping businesses grow. I'm an impartial broker working with experts in all areas of business support. I can support your business through different areas, for example, grants, loans, apprenticeships or training or general business advice. Get in touch via gintro.co.uk. Thanks a million.
Parkview in Shirley is a stunning residential development of 27 two-bedroom apartments. Modern, stylish and luxurious, the exceptionally high-quality properties are centrally located and next to the popular high street, with plenty of bars, restaurants and shops, and an enviable view of Shirley Park. Parkview is an ideal home for first-time buyers as it's supported by the Help to Buy scheme and requires just a 5% deposit. Created to exacting standards, the apartments have allocated parking and cycle storage. With prices starting at £190,000, Parkview is superb value for money. For more information and contact details, visit parkviewshirley.co.uk.
You're listening to Solihull Radio.
Indian Dream on Dove House Parade, Solihull's premier family-run restaurant offering authentic Indian and Bangladeshi cuisine with fresh ingredients and creative chefs. They can provide bespoke dining experiences, eat in or take away. 0121 704 9058.
Solihull Radio.
Funny how I find myself
There's Talk. It's my life here on Solihull Radio, and in the studio I have got two smashing guests. I've got Rachel from Herbalicious and Barrie from St Basils. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, yes, very well.
That's great. So, first of all, we're going to have a little chat to Rachel if we can. Rachel, you are, you name it, you do it pretty much. You are a yoga teacher, is that right?
My husband.
Oh, your husband is, sorry,
He's
forgive me. But you're also an ace chef of vegan products and a bit of a vegan champion as well.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about veganism. What is it if people don't know?
Yeah, so living a vegan lifestyle is so we don't consume any meat or any dairy, eggs, things like that. And that's really the starting point for people then that carry on further down the line. You know, things like skincare as well. We don't use anything that's tested on animals. You know, things like leather we don't wear as well. But at the moment we're in Veganuary, which is a huge campaign all across the world, just trying to help people to transition to maybe eating a little bit less meat and committing to a month of January where they'll commit to doing Veganuary, where they'll eat less meat and lot less dairy, and basically what we've been doing throughout the month is helping people with recipes, because for some people they may go out to the supermarket and buy their bread, egg, milk, cheese, and then they get home and go, well, what am I going to eat? How do I do this? Because they've been living a life of eating meat and cheese and things like this for their whole lives, and people just need support to be able to make those transitions. So, which is what I'm really, really passionate about. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is to help those people make those changes, because it worked for me. I grew up on a farm, so I've gone from one extreme, to the other. I know not only did I live and eat a lot of meat, my whole family's livelihood, and still does, for my parents, grandparents, uncles, and things like that. So I know what those transitions are like and how to make those.
So how can it change your life if is it good for your health, presumably?
Yeah, that is one of the three main reasons why somebody would become a vegan. So, and that's actually the reason why I did 4 years ago. So I'd just different health reasons and things. And there's lots of evidence now that shows eating a clean plant-based diet. There's some amazing books out there. There's some amazing people out there that are. There's a great lady called Chris Carr who's been living with cancer for 15 years, and her cancer hasn't grown at all through eating a plant-based diet. And just personally with clients that I'm working with, doctors saying, I've got an 80-year-old who we do deliveries all across Solihull, and ready meals for people to help people during that transition phase as well. And I've got one of my clients, he's 80 years old, and his doctors are saying his diabetes is changing, and his doctors are like, this isn't a phase or an age of your life where this is changing, but this is the food that he's eating, and this is a really clean plant-based diet that he's living on. So all of our food obviously is meat-free and dairy-free, gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and really, really yummy and nutritious. So from a health point of view is one of the main reasons why somebody would become vegan. Then obviously one of the other reasons is to stop the suffering for all the animals as well, and then also the impact that it has on our environment. So they're the three main reasons why somebody would want to consider being a vegan. And like I say, we're here to help people make those steps forward, because if you are used to having your bacon butty every day for breakfast and a ham sandwich and meat and 2 veg for dinner, how do you get from that to like no meat, no dairy and things? So we do cooking workshops and classes, all based in Solihull, to help people just step by step make those steps throughout the journey.
Is this a New Year's resolution for many people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It is. And for some people, it may be completely no meat, no dairy and things. For some people, it just may be, okay, I'm just going to do this 1 day a week. If I can do this 1 day a week, then I can do it 2 days a week, then I can do it 3 days a week. Because sometimes, I'm a big believer in, if we try and overwhelm ourselves with so much stuff, there's a reason why come mid-January a lot of people are like, what, New Year resolution? What was that? I've forgotten about it already. Yeah. Because it was just so big and so overwhelming, and we need support. Anytime we're going to be making changes in our lives, we need support along that journey. And
are you the support then? Can you?
Absolutely, yeah. Whether it's, so we do Facebook Lives every single day. We share lots of free recipes with people. Like I say, we do cookery classes, we do workshops, we do loads of different group activities recipes. And that's all of the food sides of things. And as I've said, my husband's a yoga teacher, so once a month on a Saturday, we do a yoga class, and everyone then does like a bit of a bring and share vegan lunch as well. So we're a very social group of people, and we're very supportive. You know, we want to help people make those changes, because for someone like myself, where I stopped eating a lot of processed foods, I didn't do this to lose weight, but you know, I lost a couple of stone. My skin, I suffered from quite bad acne, and as you can see, I've got great skin now. I could never grow my hair past about kind of like my chin length, and now it's all the way down my back. And once you start to see, when you're eating a really clean diet, the impact that it has on your hair and your skin and how great you feel, it's just, you know, you're not going to want to go back to do that. So I say to people, figure out what's going to work for you. Is 50-50%? Is it 80-20? What's going to work for you?
So any improvement, if you do it bit by bit, is better than going slow, totally cold turkey, if you excuse the pun.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So if people can just start with, like I say, that 1 day a week, I'm going to commit to doing this 1 day a week to start with, and then maybe 2 days a week. And for a lot of people, so one of the questions I get asked a lot is, so I really want to have a go at being vegan, you know, a couple of days a week, I want to do something like this, but actually my husband is never going to do it, and I've got 2 teenagers in the house either, like they're not going to do it with me. And so sometimes people just need a bit of emotional support as well, that you can do this, you know, a cheerleader, and you know, some tips on how to I talk about batch cooking food, I talk about having prep time. So I always say to people, 2 hours twice a week prep time will set you up for the week. And like I say, there's loads of videos on our Facebook page where there's lots of free recipes and ideas. So yeah, go there and watch our videos, and we will gladly help you along the journey. And just one thing I would share as well is that anybody who does want to try being vegan for Veganuary, then one of the differentiations that I always like to make is that if you choose to be vegan and you eat a lot of the processed food, because it's really exciting right now that Marks and Spencer's are bringing out this plant range, and Greg's have just brought out a vegan sausage roll, and these are really, really great things because it's helping people transition. However, if you eat a full processed diet of all these processed shop bought foods, you're not going to feel the health benefits. So it's about having that balance in anything in life, isn't it? We need some balance, and so that's definitely what I recommend for people. So
if I was looking down your Facebook page, there's videos there's recipes, there's all sorts of things, but there's something else you haven't really touched on, that you cater for events, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
For sort of retreats and that sort of thing. Is that something people can book you for?
Yes, absolutely. Weddings, birthdays, any kind of... I go to people's houses and I will come and it's something different, isn't it? I'll go to people's houses and do private dining for them. Myself and my husband, we do retreats away. So we've got... our one in April is already fully booked. We've got one in June up in the Lake District, and then we've got one in the Cotswolds in November. So, and we do workshops within those retreats as well. So not only do you get fed lovely food for the whole time, you also get to learn how to make some of this food, because it's great having an experience, but when you get home back to your real life, you need to know how to be able to carry this life on. And so we do those workshops as well. But yeah, absolutely, you can hire us for private events as well. I do other people's yoga retreats and wellbeing retreats and things like that. So yeah, we're a small team, and we're growing really, really quickly, and we're available to help people for any of those events.
How do we find you on Facebook? What's your @s and things like that? Your handle, is it?
It's at Herbalicious Foods, but if you just simply put in Herbalicious into Facebook, you will find us. Our picture is some lovely homemade beetroot flaffles and lots of salads and things like that. You'll find us straight away. So
and drop you a message there?
Yeah, a private message on there. I can send you any recipes out if you drop me your email address. Like I say, we have live video chats every single day, and that's very much about, what do you need? What are you struggling with? What can we help you with? And I'm just listening to people saying, okay, here's some recipes for this. Let's try this. Let's do this. Like, you know, for example, like making your own milk. A lot of the vegan milks that are on the shelves in the supermarkets, it's great that people are drinking that, not cow's milk, but actually a lot of it's really, really processed. And I say to people, turn the the box or whatever over and look at the list of ingredients. If you've got 10 different ingredients in your milk, you need to change your milk. And to make your own almond milk, coconut milk, cashew milk, hazelnut milk, you make your own milk. It's half the price and it takes 5 minutes, and it's super, super simple and easy to do.
I'm sorry, I'm absolutely shocked. I thought milk was just milk. Having more than 10 ingredients, that's quite something.
Yeah.
Barrie, have you ever been are you a vegan, vegetarian, ever been tempted to go that direction?
Well, I actually do. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not from around these parts originally, so I used to have the typical West of Scotland diet, which was essentially the only vegetable you would get would be from the vegetable oil that your chips were made of from the chip shop. But when I moved down here, my wife's actually a nutritionist, so she got me into healthy eating. So I do eat things like sweet potato and kale and chickpeas, and I have to say sweet potato and kale curry is fantastic. It really is lovely. So yeah, I think we do 2 days a week where we do this. I have to confess though, I do enjoy the odd sausage supper, as we would call it, but that's just my own personal vice. Yeah.
You're going to attempt to converse us with some of your cakes in just a bit, aren't you?
Yes, I've brought some lovely cakes in with you, which are all gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and as you're going to get to sample yourselves, very, very delicious.
Do you find that people are surprised?
Yes,
Do people
absolutely.
sort of think this is going to taste like Ryvita? No offense to Ryvita. And actually, there's lots of stuff. There's lots of flavour in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait till you taste these cookies. You're going to be like, ooh, what's that? And what's amazing with these is that you've got all superfoods in these. These are really healing foods that are going to help you. So, you know, with whatever illnesses, whether it's just day-to-day colds and things like that, you're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better from eating this kind of food. So absolutely. And so I did a pop-up night last night. I do a pop-up night once a month over in Alton at the Happy Heart Cafe. And someone said to me at the end of the night, how many vegans are there in here? And I looked around the room because a lot of people were regulars and I knew them. And I looked around the room and I went, oh, actually only one vegan out of 30 people in a restaurant that was full last night. And so for some people, it's not about going fully vegan. It's actually, I'm just going to give this a go. I'm going to try it. I like the food. It's something different. And that bit by bit makes a difference as well. So
okay, we'll have some of your cookies and cakes in just a minute, and we'll have a chat to Barrie after a bit of Ariana Grande, No Tears Left to Cry.
Right now I'm in a state of mind. I wanna be in like all the time. Ain't got no tears left to cry. So I'm picking it up. I'm living, I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up. I'm loving, I'm living, I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up. Loving, I'm living, so we turn it up. Yeah, we turning it up. Ain't got no tears in my body. I ran out, but boy, I like it. I like it. Don't matter how, what, when, who tries it. We out here vibing. We vibing. Even when it's raining down, can't stop, so shut your mouth. Yeah. And if you don't know, then I know it, babe. Yeah. Right now I'm in a state of mind. I wanna be in like all the time. Ain't got no tears left to cry. So I'm picking it up. I'm living, I'm picking it up. I just want you to come with me. We are another mentality. Ain't got no tears left to cry. So I'm picking it up. I'm living, I'm picking it up. Picking it up. Loving, I'm living, so we turn it up. Yeah, we turning it up. They point out the colors in you. I see them too, and boy, I like them. We way too fly to partake in all this hate. We out here vibing. We vibing. Even when it's raining down, can't stop, so shut your mouth. Yeah. And if you don't know, then I know it, babe. Yeah. Right now I'm in a state of mind. so we turning up. Yeah, we turning it up. Solihull Radio.
There was a bit of Ariana Grande, and I'm joined in the studio by Barrie, and he works for St Basils. How you doing, Barrie? You all right?
You're very well, thank you. How are you?
You feeling hungry?
Do you know what? I'm always hungry. And my wife can testify to that. I do tend to come home and eat the house out of all food. So the fact I've been sitting next to these cakes for the last 40 minutes, really, it's been quite difficult to actually...
Yeah, I'm feeling starving now.
Yeah.
Rachel, you should be ashamed of yourself by tempting us.
I'm ready to dive into them,
Yeah.
so we're just going to wait to show people.
So tell us a little bit about St Basils. You dropped in. You're a busy guy over Christmas, I imagine.
A little bit. I mean, there is this misconception that homeless charities are only busy over Christmas. The reality is that homelessness exists 365 days, of the year. It's something that we're constantly having to deal with. But St Basils, in a nutshell, has been going for the last 46 years. We support over 5,000 young people every single year. And essentially what we work with is people who are homeless or who have been homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. And the whole ethos of St Basils is really about making sure that people have those tools they need to go on and live independently without the support of ourselves, without the support of the state, without the support of anyone. It's about making sure that people have the skills to live independently. So it's all about life skills. So one of the things we've been talking a lot about cooking today, one of the big things we do at St Basils is teaching young people how to cook healthy and nutritious meals on a budget. It's about teaching young people the skills to actually manage a house. The first step of what we do is putting a roof over someone's head, but that is just the beginning point. We talk an awful lot about what homelessness actually is. Well, people think, it's people without a roof over their head. Well, it's actually people without the skills to maintain a home. You put a roof over someone's head, that doesn't end homelessness. I can do that, but if I didn't know how to run a house or to cook properly or to live on a budget or have the skills or have the opportunities to get employment, some meaningful employment so I can afford my own place, if I don't have all that, then I'm going to lose that home again really, really quickly. So St Basils is about making sure that young people have those things.
So you could say that the homelessness is potentially the symptom, the tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
There could be a whole range of other issues that you've got to deal with to make sure that it's sustainable going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just talking sort of when we were off air that there's a massive problem in Solihull, isn't there?
People don't realise it because you see. Everyone, when they think about homelessness, they think about rough sleeping. Rough sleeping is an aspect of homelessness. That is the tip of the iceberg, as we talk about. But the reality is that there's this hidden homeless situation. Solihull is one of those areas that, when you think about it, it's such a vast area with such incredible wealth, but also has incredible poverty as well. A recent survey actually revealed, those surveys where they have, per 1,000 people, X amount of people are this, X amount of people are that. But in Solihull, I think it was every 1,000 people, 4.5 were homeless, which is actually higher than London. So the percentage of people that are homeless in Solihull is higher than London. Now, I have to say that figure has dropped ever so slightly, but not enough. But when you think about the realities of why people become homeless, people start to think about things, it's obviously because there's drugs involved, or there's alcohol involved. There is a whole range of issues of why people can become homeless.
Your life can change in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It can just be one thing. If you actually talk to people who have experienced homelessness, you usually find that it's because one aspect of their life has gone wrong. So one of the ways I always describe it to people is, if you think about a table, and you think of the four legs of a table, and those four legs of that table represent the pillars of your life. So the tabletop is actually what we would call homelessness. The four table legs, and this is when I'm going to struggle to remember the pillars now, isn't it? But one of them will be your job or your education, your ability to make money. One will be your mental and physical health. One will be your family and your relationships. And the other one will be bricks and mortar, a house, a roof over your head. And all it takes is for one of those things to go, and the table becomes unsteady. So let's just say that you separate from your partner, and it starts putting a difficult situation on your relationships. That table leg goes. Now the table will still stand if the other three pillars are still, the other three legs are still holding it up. Yeah. But it starts to make it a bit more difficult because you've broke up with your partner. You might not want to go to your work. It starts affecting your ability to make money. That table leg could go. That starts to impact other aspects of your life. And then all of a sudden that table can collapse. So all we are really trying to do at St Basils and other organisations like us is keep the table steady. That's what we're trying to do.
How can we help?
variety of different ways in which you can help somewhere like St Basils. Obviously, I wouldn't be forgiven if I didn't come on and mention that we are actually having an event in Solihull very, very soon, which will raise money so we can actually do the work that we do. It's the Solihull Sleepout. It takes place at Renewal Church on the Friday the 5th of April. It's our 5th one. It started off with about 20 to 30 people doing it. Last Solihull Sleepout, we had over 200 people taking part. So obviously fundraising is a huge aspect of what we do. We are constantly looking for things like long life foods and non-perishable items in order to give the young people. So if you go on our website, stbasils.org.uk, there's a how you can help section, which gives you a list of things on what we call starter packs, in which we give to young people. So there's the ways you can do that. If you're an employer, we're constantly looking for things like job opportunities, work experience, placements, apprenticeships, because we know that the route out of poverty is employment. If you can give someone a job or give someone opportunities, then that is a real thing of way of tackling this issue. One of the key things which I remember when I started at St Basils many years ago now, and when I was talking to young people and when I was talking to the support team that we have at St Basils, the one phrase that came out all the time that really stuck with me was that they said that, I asked, when did you realise that it was going to be okay? And they said, it was when someone believed in me. It's when someone believed in me. That is a really powerful thing. And that applies not just for what we do, but that applies for life. How inspired are we when someone actually takes the time to believe in us? And when you hear that, you can achieve anything in life. It's a bit like, what we were talking about earlier on about becoming a vegan. I could never imagine me doing that, but I've been making small steps in changing my diet. I would never have considered that. As I say, I come from the west of Scotland. As I say, the only diet we have ever had is sausages and chips. That's essentially what I would eat. But when someone believes in me to actually be able to achieve something and do something, then you feel more inspired to do it. So that's what we are trying to do at St Basils.
So I was just thinking, if you've got any budding DJs, I'd be more than happy to have someone on for a few minutes just to sort of see how everything goes. They could have a little
Absolutely.
slot for a few minutes and just sort of chat about something that might be of interest.
Yeah, we'd love to support people, absolutely, with helping out in kitchens or anything that we can do at Herbalicious. Then we would love to support you, absolutely.
Well, that would be fantastic because one of the big things, and I was mentioning earlier on, is teaching young people and teaching people in general about how to make healthy and nutritious meals.
I would love to come and do a workshop for your teenagers or whoever it may be, and because if people were to switch rice for something like quinoa, that the health benefits are huge. Huge amount of complete balanced protein from something like quinoa. But for many people, it'd be like what kind of thing. Keen who? And so I would absolutely give my time up, and I would come and support St Basils for young people. I think just what you said there about believing you. It's not even sometimes it's when someone says it. It's like it's when you feel it. Like they don't even need to say it. You just know someone believes in you. It's like that is life changing. And I always remember being like 17 when I had a teacher who believed in me, and it stayed with you forever. And it makes it's not just the next step of your life, it makes the whole point of your life, it changes everything. So
absolutely.
We would love to support you. Herbalicious would, absolutely. So I look forward to connecting
Delighted.
after the show. So
Barry, you said that if people wanted to donate food, people can't donate anything, can they?
No. I mean, we do get a lot of fantastic and wonderful offers from people, whether they maybe want to donate sort of fresh food, and frozen food. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to store that. So we do have a very specific list of items which we require at St Basils. The full list is on our website, as I say, stbasils.org.uk. But it is things like we are looking for sort of tins of beans or things like that, which are incredibly helpful to us. But it's really around about things like we're looking for things like toiletries and things. I mean, I remember one quick story for you that really stuck with me. It was a young person that we'd been supporting for a little while, and he had been, we deal with a variety of different young people. There's not a one size fits all to this issue. So we're dealing with young people who have maybe had an argument with mum and dad, and unfortunately it's no longer viable for them to stay at home. We're dealing with young people who have been sleeping rough on the streets for a period of time. There's this one young lad who's now at university now, and is now, I think he's actually just graduated last year with a first class honours degree. So he's done incredibly well for himself. But when he came to us, he'd been sleeping rough for about 3 or 4 months. And again, it was one of those ones I asked him, when did you know it was going to be okay? And he said, it was when I got to take a shower for the first time in about 3 months. And that was, we were able to give him some items, where he could actually do that. So that's powerful. And again, it's just those little small gestures. And it comes back to that whole thing of someone has taken the time to donate that item, or take part in one of our fundraising events. The way I describe it, I mean, my official role at St Basils, I'm head of fundraising at communications at St Basils. That's what I do. Yeah. But it just when someone, so I talk about fundraising as, I'm a head of fundraising, but I'm actually not that charitable a human being when I think about it in the grand scheme of things. I'll be honest, before I worked for St Basils, I never really ever did much fundraising for a charity. It's because, the reason why I can do my role is because I don't see what we do as charity. I see it as an investing in our future, our young people, our region. Even though I'm not, from the West Midlands originally, I've been here for 10 years. I've married a Brummie. Please don't judge me for that, Solihull people.
Everyone's got their faults.
No, what can I say? It was the only one that would settle for me, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, I see it as investing in our future. So when someone takes part in our fundraising events, when someone donates some of those items to us, when an employer or a college come along and say, well, you know what, maybe we can do this. When yourself comes along, Rachel, about donating time to us, that's an investment in the future for our region, and I'm really proud to be part of something like that.
Whereabouts are you in Solihull, very quickly?
Solihull.
If people want to give you something, where's the best place to do it?
Well, we've got a Solihull Youth Hub. So the Youth Hub, and very, very quickly, is the central access point for young people if they're experiencing homelessness, risk of it. It's a central point where they can come to for help. That's based over in Chelmsley Woods. You can find all the details. I can't remember the address off the top of my head, but it's on our website. But yeah, as I say, we've got some local projects as well where young people can come along to. All the details are on our website. And one thing I should say as well is that anybody who does want to take part in our Sleepout event in Solihull on the 5th of April, all the money raised stays in Solihull. It's not one of those things for a charity where it'll be, divvied up in other parts of the West Midlands where St Basils operates. All money, raised here stays here to help young people in Solihull. So, yeah.
Barrie, thank you very much. You're going to do some filming in just a minute.
Yes.
When we're going to be trying some cakes, but that's after a bit of ABBA. Take a chance on me.
If you change your mind, take a chance. I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go when you're feeling down. If you're all alone, when the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my very best, and it ain't no lie. If you put me to the test, if you let me try, take a chance on me. That's all I ask of you, honey. Take a chance on me. We can go dancing, we can go
Well, there's a bit of ABBA here on Solihull Radio. I have moved seats, and thankfully Barrie has turned into radio producer and up the fader, and I've just hopped around, and we're going to have a little look at some of the cakes that Rachel has brought in from Herbalicious. But if you go across the Facebook now, we're actually streaming this live, and you can see the beautiful cakes that she's brought in, and cookies as well. So I'm just going to take my headphones off because it's just easy to do it this way. Okay, Rachel, so tell us a little bit about what you brought in. What have we got here?
Yeah, sure. So we've got 3 different cakes and cookies. This first one, where to start? Let's start with this one.
Right,
so
okay.
This is a really, really simple cookie to make. This is one of my favourites called maca and raisin cookies.
Maca?
Maca is, we call it maca powder. If you're wondering, first of all, where to get it from, Aldi is one of those places where all these different little superfood things,
right?
Where they sell things like raw cacao and quinoa. They have this little section, really small part, and you can grab maca powder in there for about $1.99. So you're welcome to pick it up.
So you've got you sort of. Oh, can I? Thank you.
Yeah, you could welcome to start eating as well. So I'll talk about what's in it while you have a little nibble.
Okay, I'm gonna have a nibble. So what we've got?
Oats, some ground oats, some maple syrup, some coconut oil, and some maca powder. And when you cook it like this, it's literally, like I said, really simple ingredients. Probably the cheapest of the cakes as well to make people on a budget.
It's very sweet.
It tastes like caramel, doesn't it?
Mm.
With the maca powder, with the maple syrup and the coconut oil, it's like a caramel cookie. But obviously you've got something like maca gives, whether it's potassium, vitamins, magnesium, all these lovely things. That is really healthy. What you're
so
getting.
You haven't really got much sugar in that.
You've got natural sugars in there. There's
natural
no refined.
sugars.
So maple syrup, like us, is a natural sugar. So there's no refined sugars in there. Completely homemade.
But it tastes like it does.
I
That's
know.
the thing.
It tastes amazing. I'm like, yes.
You're like a vegan magician. It's brilliant.
Exactly. You're going to take a little nibble of all of them, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So go for it. There you go.
So I'm drawn suddenly to this chocolatey one here.
Yeah, I can tell.
What have we got?
So these 3 are all the same, but this one's got a sauce on it. So basically what we've got here is a chocolate cake, like a chocolate brownie.
Can I pick it up?
You can go for it, digging.
Thank you.
Go on. Need to close up here on this one if you get some messy. So
this is where I get chocolate all over the studio here.
Again, we're using coconut sugar here, so a much healthier form of sugar. And with some raw cacao powder. Again, raw cacao is what I call real chocolate. We don't know what chocolate is. If you're out there, sorry, I know Cadbury's is a local company, but if you're buying things like dairy milk and things, it's very heavily processed chocolate.
It's got a lot of palm oil in it,
yeah,
isn't it?
and you're eating so much crap with it. Whereas if you... am I allowed to say that word? Sorry.
You have already.
Sorry. I'm very sorry, everyone. It's got a lot of rubbish things in it. And whereas this with raw cacao, that is unprocessed chocolate. It's got really, really clean, natural ingredients.
So it's very, very moist. It's obviously you're a good cook.
Yeah.
If you want to find out how to do this, where are the recipes?
Yes, I will happily share any of these recipes with anybody. Just go to our Facebook page, send me a message, let me know, is it the chocolate cake? We haven't come on to the berry crumble square yet, which is a favourite. Again, this chocolate sauce that you're licking off
my fingers
here is so some homemade almond milk and some raw cacao powder, a little bit of coconut oil and some maple syrup. So again, really, really, really great, healthy, yummy ingredients for us.
Can I book you next week?
Yeah.
It's just brilliant.
For every show.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, this one here, if you're going to try that one as well,
I certainly am.
Is what we call our berry crumble square. So the bottom layer is medjool dates,
right?
And also we use medjool dates because they're not processed, whereas a lot of dates have all got lots of syrup and sugar and things all over them. So they are the more expensive dates out on the market. I always bulk buy things from Costco and things.
So we've got different layers, haven't we? So is that like a flapjacky layer at the bottom?
So that is oats blended together with maple syrup, and again a little bit of coconut oil in there, and some maple syrup. And then the middle layer that you've got there, the kind of jammy layer.
It's the fruity jammy layer, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, all cooked together. And then what makes that kind of jammy is a little bit of chia seeds and a touch of water. And then the topping is actually the topping is the same layer as the bottom, but we've just sprinkled it on rather than kind of compacting it down. And this is a favourite for like a morning breakfast snack, something like that. This is on retreats. This is always the mid-morning snack.
So where can you get this? Is this all available? Tesco, Sainsbury's, or do you have to go to a specialist store to get some of this?
So chia seeds that I just mentioned, again, really, really high in loads of nutrients and things like that. They're available in Aldi as well. Most supermarkets will have these things, but I recommend people going to Aldi because you can buy them in like 100-gram bags. They're about £1, £1.90 maximum, something like that. So these aren't, if you go to somewhere like Holland and Barrett and try to buy maca powder, I mean, their organic maca powder, it's like £20 or something. Whereas, we don't want to be doing that. Let's just start with small amounts. Let's go to Aldi and pay like maybe £1-2 max for some of these ingredients. And the rest of it is stuff that you know. So
I can't believe that. This is like breaking my brain, really. Something so nice can be so good for you.
And that is why people, I have to say to people, come to our pop-up nights, come and try and sample this food, because we're creatures of habit, right? And especially with food, food's so important to us, isn't it? We've been eating every day and we need it, and it's a survival thing. And until people come along and sample how amazing a clean plant-based diet can be, you're like, no, I'm not believing that. Because what? People think veganism maybe is a bit of dried tofu and some lettuce leaves or something. Whereas there's so much good, clean plant-based food.
I'm converted.
Sold.
I'm totally
Thanks,
sold.
Nick.
You need to get into some schools, and sell and really convert a generation. Because if this is good for you and it tastes good as well, why would you go and buy the really nasty stuff that's going to hurt you?
For sure. I would love to be able to support schools. Absolutely. So just teaching them some alternative options that are out there as well. So yeah, definitely. We would love to do that.
Rachel, thank you very much. We're going to scoff this and feel really good about it afterwards.
Yes,
it's a pleasure.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And I love your
Thank you.
serviettes as well. It
Yes.
says, she is never meant to be a common creature. What else have we got?
This one's got live imperfectly with great delight.
Love it.
Quirky napkins.
Thank you very, very much. And we're
Thank
going to
you,
finish off with a
everybody.
bit of James Arthur. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll catch you next week.
You know I want you. It's not a secret I try to hide. You know you want me, so don't keep saying our hands are tied. You claim it's not in the cards, and fate is pulling you miles away and out of reach from me. But you're here in my heart, so who can stop me if I decide that you're my destiny? What if we rewrite the stars? Say you were made to be mine. Nothing could keep us apart. You be the one I was meant to find. It's up to you and it's up to me. No one can say what we get to be. So why don't we rewrite the stars? Maybe the world could be ours tonight.
You think it's easy? You think I don't wanna run to you? Yeah. But there are mountains, and there are doors that we can walk through. I know you're wondering why, because we're able to be just you and me within these walls. But when we go outside, you're gonna wake up and see that it was hopeless after all. No one can rewrite the stars. How can you say you'll be mine? Everything keeps us apart, and I'm not the one you were meant to find. It's not a secret I try to hide, but I can't have you. We're bound to break and my hands are tied.